Hey everyone, I've been trying to upload the live stream from this morning to give an example of how we played the MJ sector bounce, but struggling to do so, so I'm just going to record it on the screen playing here, so the audio quality is going to be off a little bit, but I just want to highlight how short-term details mean everything. We had the key breaks of hourly support that we were watching, and then bounces happened right after it. So if you're new to trading, or if you're looking at the hourly time frame and you're saying key support broke and now we're bouncing, this is a joke, it's not working. You have to look at the short-term details. If the RSI on the 5-minute time frame was 50 when we broke those supports, we'd be on the sidelines or bearish watching the pullback. But because we started the morning with RSI levels on the 5-minute time frame oversold, we were looking bullish even though our key support levels broke. So the short-term RSI was more important and overrode the importance of those hourly supports breaking. We're now going to anticipate hourly equilibriums forming for the rest of today. Looks like our hourly lower highs were set, and we're going to look to pull back and form hourly higher lows compared to the lows of the dip this morning, as volatility is probably going to drop off a bit from here. But let's see the morning trade as it played out. And hourly support to keep the bulls in full control is 54.53. Cron following through. Tops are in for Canadian MJ for the vast majority of individual names now. Yesterday's highs. But we're starting 5-minute RSI oversold, so we could get a little bit of a bounce on the 5-minute time frame here. But now we're shifting our sights to hourly oversold. So we're not close to hourly oversold on a lot of these names, but that's where my attention is now. So there's CGC giving us our hourly lower high pre-market and extended hours, and now breaking support of 48.90, and things are going to get extreme here. Be cautious if you're trying to play these bounces, because momentum has shifted in this sector. Now the question is, how much consolidation do we see? I would be comfortable with 5-minute RSIs in the low 20s on this all-out dump this morning for quick flips, but anticipating that 5-minute lower highs are going to be coming on these bounces for Canadian MJ. I'll get back to tickers in a second here. Cron's going to have more volatility than CGC, I would anticipate. So if you want higher risk and higher reward, you're looking at Cron. Things can get extreme. They obviously got extreme to the upside, so they can get extreme to the downside. Just be protective. And ideally, if you're looking for bounces, be scaling. And if your full position doesn't fill, it's no biggie. But we can see these 5-minute RSIs get down to the teens if these dumps do get extreme. Looking like CGC is starting a little bit of a 5-minute bounce early. Let's see if Cron is going to be a laggard on that bounce attempt, as Cron is still at the low of the day. And stops just triggered on Cron. Quick flush under 21. I was going to say I might buy a bear break of 21 here, but that happened very quickly. So CGC is getting a bounce, so that is leading to me to get into a quick Cron position for a flip, just based on CGC being a lot stronger. CGC is trying to go to the high of the day. So I'll get back to tickers once I exit this Cron bounce. I'd be a lot more comfortable with Cron if I could see CGC break the high of the day, although we're still a decent ways below it. So a nice psychological 21 flush that triggered some stops, but it was CGC's strength that gave me the confidence to get into Cron here. And I'm going to exit Cron if 21.30 breaks. There was a decent bid at 21.30. So it would be a red flag if that were to get sold into. It just held again at 21.30. SPY bulls in full control. They're looking just fine. XLF started strong, but a quick pullback, which is surprising because that was a key break of resistance on XLF. Here's CGC going towards the high of the day. It'll help the cron bulls if we can get over it. I'm going to give the CGC bulls a chance at the high of the day. If we reject, I'm going to take my cron profit. So I'm out cron. That's enough of a pullback from me. Could get another entry for cron looking for a bottom fishing play with the low of the day, but clear enough rejection on CGC double top at the high of the day. CGC bulls could give it another shot here, but I wanted to lock that in. Certainly playing against momentum with the shift this morning. So back to tickers now. Lunch with Lori at noon. Make sure you tune in. She goes over charts. It's not just eating lunch. Talk about crazy volatility. APHA hit $12 at the high of pre-market, and the low of the day is $9.25. TLRY and ACB out of the major names are the least impacted. But if you want volatility, cron and APHA are going to give it to you today. APHA is holding on to its bounce way better than cron is in terms of still being up 10% from the low of the day, whereas cron is heading back to the low of the day. Key support on cron is 2056. Again, it's a potential bottom fishing play, but even if 2056 were to break, that 5-minute RSI is going to be in the upper teens. So it would be hard to sell even if we do get a bear break. And keeping an eye on CGC because, again, that did give me the heads up on the cron bounce getting some follow through. And if CGC breaks the low of the day here, it's going to increase the odds that cron does as well. But cron bulls are attempting to hold this low. Here's CGC testing the low. New low of the day on CGC. Watching cron close. I'd like to see stop a new low of the day on cron and some stops trigger to get that 5-minute RSI into the teens. Again, APHA holding on to its bounce gains way better. So I just got back into Cron. Let's see if the low of the day can hold. Just saw a real quick shift, which was enough to get me in. I was just sitting there with my mouse hovering over the buy button. Getting some follow through on that bottom fishing play, holding the low of the day on Cron. SPY Bulls still in full control. So now here's a play where you're either setting a stop loss at break even on Cron or hoping that the bulls can shift momentum enough if, the selling pressure has dried up